Okay, we have a letter here from a new member to the group. So I have the criteria here to refer to, and I have a letter as well. I had a look at the notes beforehand. Now, one reason why I'm not going to refer to the notes is, and this is my chosen approach and methodology, well, or method perhaps, is that if you think about it, the reader would only have your letter to refer to, not the case notes. Therefore, everything that you include must be logical. It must give all the information, have a logical flow, explain, etc., without having to refer to the case notes to understand what is going on. So I would think about it like that. Imagine the reader only has this piece of paper. Okay, so everything must be clear. So what you do, you go to the task and put yourself in the shoes of the reader, and that will inform you for audience and purpose. Now, audience, we need to know who we are writing to, content appropriate to the intended reader, audience, appropriate to reader, audience, appropriate to reader, audience. So what do they need? What don't they need? And what language, the discipline, the technical terms would they need and understand, etc. So you need your purpose to be clear first. Oh, and for a B, you need 2, 5, 5, 5, 5, 5. Okay, so your purpose must be clear. Key information, nothing omitted. This one, opposite side of the same coin. Essentially, how well you summarize effectively. And this particular letter here is 272 words. It's a little bit long. They don't count the words. 180 to 200, as I've said many times, is a recommendation. But still, if it's overly long, they will notice. And it's how well you have summarized the information. So let's make sure we've got some changes on here. Let's have a look, put them on. Okay. Writing to request ongoing home care, Miss Sarah Marshall. Okay. Now, what you would usually do, now I don't think there was a reference line, so you would do the dear doctor, and you would have like RV, Miss Sarah Marshall, date of birth. Okay, the usual convention is to put name, age, occupation. That's what you usually do. So, Miss Sarah Marshall, aged 70, retired teacher, or Miss Sarah Marshall, age 18, student, or So, usually we do name, age, and occupation. So, we don't need this here. You can put that further down in the letter. All we need here is the purpose. Why is explained a little bit later. So, I'm writing to request ongoing home care for Miss Sarah Marshall, aged 73. So she's probably retired, so you might not need the occupation. Who is being discharged today following a colon polypectomy. Okay, so you could do it in a single sentence. All right, into request ongoing home care, Miss Sarah Marshall, who is being discharged today following, operation. Okay. Now, I would be tempted to put the history, paragraph 2. So you've got COPD since 2006 as post-operative. So you've got this. So this is like a history, and yet this is what happened in the operation. So I wouldn't mix themes within a paragraph. Either have a history paragraph, a hospitalization, a paragraph, progress kind of paragraph. Yeah. But I wouldn't put I wouldn't mix themes in a paragraph. So we've got this here. So I would be tempted to put this 10 to 15 sticks. What's a stick? You mean a cigarette? Now, why is it present simple? Shouldn't it be present perfect? Unless she stopped, or I don't know if she has stopped or not. Doesn't tell me if she has or not, but okay. So I would be, so instead of having this here, right, a known COPD, so we've got from 2006, okay, then we jump straight into what happened in the operation. So I would, again, not mix themes in a paragraph. Is hypertensive and has been present perfect, so that's 2002. So I would have put, I would take that out and put it in this paragraph here. Miss Marshall has been a known COPD patient since 2006. Hypertensive, blah, 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 blah. Okay, so you could put that there, okay? So, you know, Miss Marshall. I'm not going to write it all out. Blah, 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 blah. Okay, so I'd put that as paragraph 2. Okie doke. So that fills us in on some of the background. So, let me move this up a little bit. Put it here, paragraph 2. Okay. So, I'm not going to, as I say, I'm not going to type it all out, but so, your purpose, okay, ongoing care, blah, 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 blah. History paragraph, here, okay. Now, this about the son, I would put this in this paragraph here, so it's like kind of like social and medical history, it's the background, okay. So then you don't have to keep saying about the reason why, because the son can't always be there. According to the case notes, the son is often unavailable. So you can explain that here. You could put that, where are we? Let's just pause that a second. Okay. So I say I'd be tempted to put that about the son, blah, 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 blah. Put that there. So that informs, you know, the stuff. So, I mean, now, medically stable, ability to return to one-story house. Now, the only reason to talk about the one story is, you know, if it's something to do with immobilization. So if it's one story, there's no stairs, so you don't have to mention it then. If she was living in a normal house with stairs, then you might have to say something about she needs a chairlift or something. I don't know. But one-story house, we don't really need that there. So get your purpose, put your history, you know, your social and medical stuff here. Lives with a son. She lives with a son, but he's not always there. Blah 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 blah. Okay, so put that there. Okay, so I would have put something about the operation. Okay, put the operation. So Miss Marshall was admitted on August 13th and had a operation, blah, 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 blah. So we need to put the operation here. Okay, Miss Marshall was admitted on, don't know, the 12th or 13th for an operation, blah, 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 blah. Okay, so put that there, so that makes sense now. Operation was successful, however, respiratory distress post-operatively and blah, 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 blah. Okay, so again, we've got that logical flow. Okay, so purpose, medical history, social background, all the stuff. She was with a son, blah, blah, blah. Okay, she was admitted, operation, but afterwards she had to do this. Okay, Now, made good progress. This is a little bit long now. We could probably cut some of this down. Okay. Made good progress, medical stable, and ready to be discharged. Mobilize. You don't have to put all this. She can mobilize with a cane. She's made good progress, medically stable, and can mobilize. She still wears adults or diapers. Okay, so we could cut this down a little bit. Okay, just change a couple of sentences there. And then, please ensure, Miss Marshall, blah, 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 blah. So, usually, you're closing, you do the, I would appreciate, I would be grateful, I would appreciate it if you could, please ensure that, so you can put it there, I would appreciate it if you could, please can you, blah, blah, blah. Miss Marshall ensures, and da-da-da-da-da-da. Okay, so, not too bad. So a little bit long, I would change, maybe cut a little bit out of there. Maybe you rework things a little, so you've got one theme a paragraph, so reason for writing, we don't need all that there, as I say. Put the med and social stuff there, including the son. Okay, she was admitted, and then blah, 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 blah. You don't strictly write. So you're writing to somebody at a care home, is it, or some kind of a nursing thing who is going to come and pay home kind of visits. So you don't really need all this information, not really. Okay, we don't strictly need all this stuff about what happened to the operation, ICU, and 2 liters. I believe from the case notes, I think so. I had a quick look, and it's something to do with a nursing home management or some kind of a nursing agency. So they probably don't really need this or all this information. So she went in for an operation. She's made good progress. She's coming out. However, she needs a bit of help with this and that and this and that. And that's it really. So, there's a few things here which we probably would not really need. So, okay, not too bad. As again, it just needs a bit of reworking. I'll just check the case notes for a second, just to be sure. Okay, I just had a look at the case notes. I didn't show them on the screen because they are copyright, and I don't want any issues with that. However, as I thought, you're writing to an administrator. So you're writing to the administrator of some community care kind of support organization of some kind. So you don't need all this medical stuff about what exactly happened in the operation. We don't really need all this stuff. We don't need it all. Okay? Because you are writing and asking for them to pay home kind of visits, check your O2, meds, and change the dressing. So we don't really need all of this stuff about the operation and all this other stuff. Okay? And strictly speaking, if you're writing to them asking to pay a visit, home kind of a visit, we don't really need that either. Not as such. The meds, okay. The son, he's not always there, so that might be, So again, this is the audience part, The nursing director of that community support thing probably doesn't really need all this, information. Nothing, all they want to know is what you want them to do. You want them to go around the house, make sure she takes her meds, change her dressing, monitor of oxygen, and that's it. So, not too bad. So again, this is why the audience and purpose part is important here. And as I said, the reason why I didn't look at the case notes first is because really I shouldn't need to do so. If everything is clear, then I only had a look just to check who you were writing to, and I can see there's 1 or 2 things that you don't really need. That may explain why it's 272 words. So, hope that helps, okay?